Okay, good morning, campers. I'm doing this video for people that would like to trade at the market. I just wrote a script here for somebody in a chat room because they trade at the market. And you know, if you're in front of your screen on the 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart, you can nail some of these trades. You can nail it, right? So what I did was I built a kind of progressive buy at the market, and I have a sell at the market here too. So I'll post these in the market category. If you open this puppy up, you're going to see in here, some guy told me I could put a different code in here. I don't know. It works like this. What it's going to do is it's going to buy, and this is presupposing you've got a micro account and you have the ability to trade 1Ks and you're at a 5 decimal broker. So the first order the computer is going to launch is this: buy a 5K with a 7 pip stop with a 5 pip take profit. It's not the best risk to reward ratio, but when you're scalping, this is kind of an end of the world stop. You kind of want to give it a little room because of the spread, right? So if your spread's floating and they're spiking around, or it's a crappy spread, you kind of have to, you know, sometimes you got to buy something in the checkout aisle for, you know, you need it. The next one here has got an 8 pip stop, and this is a break even. On screen it's a break even, but you still got the spread in there, so it's not the best, but you're only buying a 4. Then you're going to buy a 3 for you can make this a better trade if you want, right? This is probably actually is break even if you got a 1 pip spread. And so this is the scalp section of it. But now this one's going to have so you're going to scalp 9 plus 3 is 12K, but you're going to be in for the long term. If you think it's going up, you're going to have a 10 pip hard stop on these two orders, which add up to 3K. This one's going to get out at 20 pips, and this is going to get out at 30 pips. And you can adjust that to taste. You could buy, you know, a standard lot here and just scalp 3 pips. But the idea here is you're going to nail this. You know, you really got to have a good sense of market rhythm to make it worth your while to nail this thing. Like I'm looking at a 5 minute chart here out of the corner of my eye, and I would have bought this about, I don't know, a minute ago. Sometimes these are good to trade right at the top of the hour. So here's the demo I'm running, and I'm kind of abusing this demo. And of course, I'm going to post the sell version of this, which is the same thing, just upside down. And you're going to sell the bid, you're going to buy back the ask, and I just inverted all the numbers, and the comment's going to say here, sell at the market. And this 15 minute really doesn't apply because they're market orders, but I just left it there because I don't want to screw up the compiling and confuse the, you know, it's just, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? It runs like that. And I didn't do the math on this risk here. Now you could change these to anything you want. You could make this make more money. I mean, you could do the whole thing, right? And then some guy, I just posted in the chat room at FX Street, which is defunct, I guess. It kind of blew it up, except for the chat room. I posted in there, you know, my demo, and the guy's like, "Yeah, this is terrible risk to reward." I'm like, it's a demo, okay? I'm just seeing if this, you know, I haven't blown up the account. Thank you, Jesus, which is amazing, right? So I'm doing, you know, this is like experimental stuff. I mean, obviously, if I was going to trade that demo like it was real money and babysit it, but I'm not. So I'm trading it like a drunken sailor, but I'm just showing, okay, now I think I was at almost 12,000 on this, but I didn't have any market orders, and I can trade at the market on a 5 minute chart. Now right here, I'm just running like a candle fractal. In other words, when the market was tanking earlier, I had buy stops, and I got trapped here on that one. On the 15 minute, there's not that many entries. Okay, this is going to break out this fractal. You got a cup and handle here for the cup and handle people. So I'm looking for this thing to scalp out of that, what I just dropped. I'm using a lot of margin right now, but I'll be out of that market order, and then when it pulls back, I will come in underneath in case this is not the true exit if we bob around. And this one I wrote pretty tight. It's going to buy end of the world for 4 hours. So I'm going to go to sleep. You know, euro's going up. Sorry for all the bears. But yeah, today was quite the. Now today was, unfortunately, I don't know why my internet was. I mean, I lost the internet for the whole day. But if you had a pending down here, and this is what I call the, I guess people call it martingale, but this is the end of the world script. You start buying from here all the way down to here, right? But you have enough to fill that whole thing. Not only did you retrace, but you took out the top, okay? And you could have those orders built in. But this is kind of lughead trading. This doesn't take too much. You could also, here, you could also, depending on how big your, how many guts you have in you, you could start buying here, right? And you got out here for the bottom becoming a top. And if you had a pending script in here for this whole bank, and this other guy in the chat room, this guy's a beginner trader, so I'm giving him a break, right? I posted a chart of this kind of stuff, and he says, are you trading? Well, why do you have sell limits way up here? I'm like, because when we go up there, I want to sell it. I mean, really, people. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm preaching to the choir if anybody's still watching my free videos. I'm just, I'm making money trading. I don't need to sell a course, right? But I'll give this stuff away because I want to see people trade automated. I don't want to see people sit there and hem and haw about a trade. So I'm giving all this stuff away, and of course that's always suspicious. Like, oh, what's the catch? There's no catch, man. I mean, I wrote this script for this guy in this chat room. I just published it. He claims he codes, but he would not answer any questions when I asked him, do you do any you know how to run MetaTrader? And I don't want to insult somebody's intelligence and be like, so do you know how to code or what, man? I'm not going to play that game. I was going to give it away. And this guy's like, oh, he's talking pivots, and I'm like, dude, this is a pivot, right? Bottom becomes a top. You either had a pending there, or you're babysitting the 30-minute chart and you nailed that at the market, or you just set orders. And the idea that you're going to sit there, he's just a scalper, right? He's just scalping little moves like this on the chart, cups and handles and all this blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? Like, I mean, so here's the cup and handle, just to, of course, be tangential. I post this in the room, right? I said cup and handle alert on the 1 minute, and the cup and handle is back here. I don't know if you can see it, but here's the cup, here's the handle, right? So I went long there, and cup and handles work out, but sometimes they don't. There's a cup and handle on the 5 minute. It's more like a Big Dipper, I guess. But I mean, these kind of things, it's how you trade it. It's how you deal with that move. It's not necessarily that, it's not necessarily that you did it like, I don't know how to say. Like, you just have to, step in front of the market, take a risk, right? And then you can scalp, you can sit there, you can write these trade plans, and you can run them. Let me just go to the, so here, we're back at the cup and handle. Now, typically, I get out right here, right? I get out here, and then I reload on the pullback. But this one I'm going to let drift just because I'm waiting for the bottom of the hour, and I think there's going to be kind of a short squeeze here. And if you look at the 1 hour chart, people talk about pivots. Let's just talk about the pivot that's right in front of us on the 1 hour. And I don't know, this pivot math people come up with, the word pivot is so abused. This is obvious. And how do you use a pivot? Does it mean I buy at the pivot or I sell at the pivot? Is that support or is it resistance? Nobody talks about that. If you look for a double bottom here, these baby double bottoms that become tops, if your pending got filled on that wick, or give it a little room, right? Go like this. Give it a little breathing room. There's a bottom here, right? So you can narrow all your pivots on the 1 hour. There's not going to be a lot of pivots. These aren't I should publish these damn pivots in some stupid signal service for all these signal. Like I said, if I heard the word signal one more time, as if it's like, a signal, like a blinker on your car. What is a signal? Where did this even come from? Now, here is a 1 minute. Now, people laugh at this. This is a 1 period exponential moving average. Golly, that works out good. Let's see. You can draw the trend line here. You sell here, you sell here, you sell there, right? But when we break this 1 period exponential moving average, Katie buyer the door, right? I mean, think about it. Now, the same thing can be said for the uptrends, and this is you draw the trend line here, right? You also drew the trend line earlier here, right? And when this bottom became a top here, you sold, right? Now, these wicks would tell you, well, yeah, well, of course. That's why you're going to want to sell on limits. You're going to want to look to this pivot, right? Your sell limits are here. We revisit that area. Boom, down, right? Another thing is that this is another thing that happens in these markets continually over again. And this is going to... you're going to have to, the one period moving average is going to show you a triangle that you will not see on candles. If you draw this line, and then you draw this line, okay, we see that, right? We see that breakout. If you miss that entry, if you find the apex of the triangle, which is when this top became that baby bottom, which became that bottom, which became that top, and everything gets all congested, right? It typically revisits that apex of that triangle. So you have a pending buy limit here, right? At least for a scalp, right? And then if this this happens a lot. So you don't have to know what's going to happen next. It's already happened, and you're going to get in underneath the market. Like this top on the 15, there's definitely more signals. I'm already ready to get out of the trade, but I'm just saying. So now, if you look at this from the standpoint of just kind of scalping in this Asian session here, but this pattern, this could be a 4-hour chart, for God's sakes, right? Now, there's not that many of these kind of setups in the 4-hour, but let me see if I can just find one more triangle becoming a... let me go back to this guy. Now, I am running the 1 period moving average here, much to the chagrin of everybody that makes fun of it. This is loaded with orders like you cannot believe. These are buy stops, believe it or not. So when this thing breaks north, we're either going to break this, this account. We're really hitting this account hard. It's a demo. Who cares, right? So, take a look at the half hour. Let's look for a triangle here. Back in history, of course, right? Here's a triangle, right? I think we can all, let me just turn that off. You got to turn this damn ray off here to build your triangle. And I guess you could build one of those pretty little Gartleys too as your triangle. Of course, those things seem to have some type of fib story to them. So this is your, I guess it's your triangle, so to speak. This is kind of a, I guess you got to look up the definition of a triangle at some point. But if we find the apex of this triangle, it kind of happens in space here. So when we crush, we break out of that triangle and then we revisit it. Of course, it blew through it there. It's kind of the best triangle. It's kind of sloppy. But, yeah, you're going to get stopped out of some of those. But that's definitely where the pivot is. And it's not some holy grail system. But, yeah, that is the entry there for me. And then on the... it's just not any triangles in here. I guess you're going to have to go to the 4-hour. You really can't force a triangle either, I suppose. Well, here's a triangle that they never came back to retest it. Oh, I guess they did here. If you build a triangle here on the 1 hour, this is more of a triangle, right? So let me just turn off the chart shift so this thing doesn't start walking on me. Damn it, I can't find that chart shift. But here, let me take this off so I can get in tighter. If you look at this triangle here, there was a smash and grab. Market maker, this is the rogue bank trading. You look at this video, I'll post the rogue bank trading video here too. That this triangle here, if you draw a line through the apex of this bottom pivot, you see how it revisited? So you have a pending there. This is a 10-pip grid. So you get this entry here. This is where you get in with pendings. Plus you revisit the top here. right? You have a pending here at this last known top. You get filled there. Boom.